And good morning. It is Tuesday. We started this morning out at 65 with a high somewhere around 74. Today is one of those days we don't need to burn. We've got a, not a burn ban, but a fire risk out today. Very high. Gust of about 25 miles an hour. So watch that. Don't burn. Just be safer for everybody. Wouldn't want to get anything out. A big action-packed show coming up at 7 o'clock. Greg will be in as Odie is off this week as we get J.J. Anders in, Lauderdale County Supervisor. Rush Mayett will be here, the road supervisor. We'll discuss Marion. Been lots of talk of that. That's coming up at 7 this morning. Hope you'll join us for that show. We got a lot to talk about that's going on nationally. All that's up and coming this morning. Stay with us. It'll be interesting for sure. We'll be right back as we go to Collinsville now.
Easter is this Sunday, and I want to invite you to join us to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus at Collinsville First Baptist Church. This Sunday, we'll have two identical Easter services, one at 8:30 a.m. and one at 10:30 a.m. And it would just thrill us to have you and your whole family to come worship with us. We are continuing our Holy Week journey with Jesus. Today is Teaching Tuesday. As the week leading up to the crucifixion progresses, Jesus continues to take opportunities to teach his disciples. We see this in Matthew 21, 18 through 22. Beginning in verse 18, the Bible says, "Early in the morning, as he was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, 'May you never bear fruit again.' Immediately the tree withered." Now we could talk about the symbolism behind the cursing of the fig tree and how it represents God's judgment on Israel for their unfruitfulness and for their rejection of the Messiah. But the teaching moment for Jesus came with the disciples' response to the withered tree. In verse 20, the disciples asked Jesus, "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" With his answer, Jesus takes the opportunity to teach a lesson about faith. He says in verses 22 and 23, "I tell you the truth, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what was done to the fig tree, but also you can say to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and it will be done. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer." God-given faith does not doubt. But those who have God-given faith know that God only gives what is in accordance with his will. Asking for things in faith is not random or arbitrary. As God sanctifies us, we learn to pray more in line with the will of God. And it is then that God unleashes his power in our lives and we see the results of having true faith. May God grant us mountain-moving faith. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome back. Let's see. Charlotte says Trinity Baptist Church in Philadelphia will host a Good Friday service at 6 o'clock. Hope everybody can come. That's at 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. This is the week. Remember that for what this is all about, what we exist over. Easter week. Very, very important. Well, a lot of things coming up on that. And if you've got a church having a service, please let us know. We'll be glad to list that. We'll try to get all those compiled. Biden expecting to make his comeback speech today. Well, I don't know about comeback, but it will be his first speech since leaving the White House. He'll be in Chicago today discussing Social Security. He thinks Trump's trying to kill it. So he will be there to make a speech. If you enjoy watching that, he'll be there. The U.S. Armed Forces are directed to take control of about 60 feet of land right there at the border that runs up over 3 states. This is going to help take over all this immigration, protect our country. It's been set aside. It was done in 1907. They'll take that little strip there to protect America a little bit harder, stronger. I think it's a good thing. Chicago, as we look at this headline today, is going to be canceling their Cinco de Mayo parade. They're afraid that if they do that ICE agents will show up and make arrest. Hungary know that country? I was looking at this. They have passed a bill, constitutional amendment, to ban LGBTQ public events. Pretty strong. They've passed that. What's it looks like? My, oh my. I don't know if you've watched this. El Salvador, the president of El Salvador was with President Trump. As the news media asked questions, Trump repeatedly told CNN they did not like America. He used a much stronger word from that. A few minutes later, they went back live to their studios and they wanted to discredit that. But if you heard the questions that they made, it sure wasn't of someone who really liked America. They were trying to portray someone who was arrested as a father, someone who was just a perfect citizen, who was here illegally. And the president of El Salvador repeatedly said, he's a criminal. I'm not returning him. And though they kept pressing for answers as to why he was in jail. Watch the clip. It came out yesterday. There's plenty of that from Donald Trump's page on down that you can watch that. What have we been told over the last 8, 10, 12 years? They kind of try to lead things, and they wonder why ratings are down. Let's see here. Again, this would have to be proven, but they're starting to say that newly unredacted documents show where Biden was negotiating oil, gas deals that might benefit Hunter. Again, hasn't made it to court yet, but they're saying that's out there. Have you seen all of this when it comes to the governor's mansion that was burned in Pennsylvania? This guy went and got beer bottles, filled them with gasoline, and threw them in and set it on fire. Could have killed the governor's kids. He's in jail. He's going to be there quite some time. He has been denied bail. Of course he should be. We have criminals that, what do you call them? Copycat criminals? That always scares me when somebody does something like that. This is just my 2 cents, is as though we don't have a strong enough punishment in the United States. There's never anything to deter someone else from doing that. If the punishment for doing a crime was very strong, trust me, the line goes away. People don't want to copy that. But yet we still put people on death row for 30, 40 years. There's no consequences. They've forgotten what they did by the time they reach it, if and when it does happen. You make somebody stand out in public square that stole wearing a sign that they done, it deters it. The sharper the punishment, the more you should get. The worse the crime, the more the punishment should be. We've got to be a very, very relaxed country on crime. And it won't change until we get a little bit tougher. Y'all know that. It's just like a child. If you keep telling a child you're going to get in trouble, you'll have to stay in timeout. Doesn't mean anything to them. It just gets worse and worse. You get a spanking, it's a line in the sand. They know that something will happen. Same way with criminals. We need to do something. Let's see here. Meta headed to court today. Have y'all seen this? They're calling it a scheme. We'll find out if it happens or not. We all know that Facebook bought WhatsApp, and they also bought Instagram. Y'all remember that? They say it was a ploy to buy and bury scheme because those platforms were getting bigger than them, so they bought them so they wouldn't have competition. That's nothing different than any other company in America. 2 trucking companies, and you tried to buy out your company. Anyway, we'll see if they're going to be forced to sell today. And trial starts. Not sure anything will become of that. Glad. You know those trash bags? Well, they're in trouble. Clorox has been fined $8.25 million. Well, they were, what's the word I'm looking for? Exaggerating on how much they had cleaned up the oceans, and recycling claims is what it amounts to. You can't claim that you've done this if it's not true. They got in a little bit of trouble over that. A jury is being selected today. Sarah Palin is going back to court. She's mad. She's angry. She's suing the New York Times. Libel case is what it is. We'll see what becomes of it, if she wins or not. She says they defamed her. We'll see. New Mexico, we go next, and I'm going to try to say the word right. I always say it wrong. Tesla, is that right? It's close. The guy that firebombed, that threw it in, lit these dealerships on fire. They're going to be seeking 40 years in jail for this. This kind of goes back to what we said a minute ago. if you make punishment tough enough, criminals don't want to copycat it. How many dealerships did we see catch on fire, and how many cars did we see that were destroyed because copycats? They saw others do it, they wanted to do it also. You make that crime bad enough, it'll stop it. The punishment for it is what I mean. We'll see. 40 years is what they're seeking. Not sure if that'll happen or not. Let's see here. Colorado. Greg, I'll ask you. Medicaid, Colorado. Reckon how much they spent in the last 4 years on dead people on Medicaid. And what I mean as in people that have been long gone. Yeah, $7.3 million just from 17 to 20. So what's happened in the last 5 years? That's $7 million. And all across America, we're learning that no one was checking columns. And that's what DOJ has done. It's brought awareness to it. We've had our very own here in Mississippi. His name is Shad White. Do you remember them trying to limit him to where he couldn't investigate people that were doing wrong? My, that doesn't look good politically. They sure tried that. He keeps a pretty straight column and makes people pay for the crimes that they've done, even if it's down to $10 or $5 million. He's trying to make a name for himself. We all know that. He'll end up in the governor's mansion, whether it's this time or 4 years from now. We'll see what becomes of it. But $7.3 million wasted, and that's Colorado, Medicaid. All across America, our tax dollars are spread, wasted, and no one has been checking that. It should be just like your home budget, to where each month you balance. Y'all know what I mean. It's finally happened. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. The Trump administration has loosened restrictions on those shower heads. It's finally going into law. If you remember, Biden and them clamped down on it to where you couldn't have much water pressure coming out of your shower or your toilet. It's formally moving ahead, getting rid of that. My, oh my. Super Bowl champion has passed away. Anybody remember Don Hasselback? He suffered a heart attack at the age of 70, has passed away. We send condolences to his family. That's tough there. Shad White has exposed a lot of people. Gene, thank you so much for that. Let's see here what else we have today going on. How many times I've watched specials on this. Now, I have no facts to back up what I'm talking about, but I know through the years I've heard the word, I've heard the term. You ever heard New World Order? Y'all know what I'm talking about, where they really wanted one money worldwide and to take away your rights, and it's really deep. They're saying you're watching this be destroyed before your eyes. What we're talking about is Donald Trump. He's taken down the New World Order one day at a time. It's pretty strong, too. We see that. We'll see if this becomes, or anything happens to it. He's asked Congress to take back $1.1 billion away from, well, those people on the radio network that give you propaganda every day. You know what I'm talking about as we look at this public broadcasting. $1.1 billion, and they're as liberal as they come. Now, if they were giving us the facts straight down the middle, not one way or the other, because your tax dollars are paying for it, I think America wouldn't have a problem with it. But it is definitely goes this way. Make it straightforward. Do it Walter Cronkite way, and I don't think America will be upset. $1.1 billion. My, oh my. I feel like that'll pass. I can't guarantee it, but we'll see what happens with that. I circle back on this. We mentioned this earlier in the week. Just how bad a criminal are you? Well, this one's 17 years old. Killed his parents to get control of their money so he could plan an assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Who was he listening to? Who influenced him? That scares me. Who is it that really and truly has this much control over a youth? He had joined some, what was it? I'm trying to name of it, the Nine Angels? I'd never heard of it. It was an extremist group that he had joined. It's just bad out there. Bad, 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 bad. Menendez, y'all remember those two brothers that killed their parents way back when? The aunt passed out in court, had to be taken to a hospital. They're blaming it on the pictures that she saw in court, the parents that were murdered. Remember, they were convicted of doing this. They're trying to get out early. But they did do those murders. Whether the aunt can handle the pictures or not, that's reality. And I see it differently than some, I guess. The truth is the truth. You should show these things. If you can't handle it, then you don't need to be in court. We had somebody arrested on this. This is pretty serious here. United Healthcare headquarters. Well, we all know what happened on the streets there is that president of that company was murdered. They had somebody that was acting a fool. He was arrested for allegedly, and I use that word allegedly again, for making threats. I wasn't there, so we have to use that word. 2 hikers. Now, this is, as we get into summertime, y'all keep this in mind. As you want to get fit, you want to go on these trail rides, hiking trips. We've already had 2 that have had to be rescued in Arizona so far this year. Be careful, be careful. Harvey Weinstein, they're hoping for a better outcome. He's going back to court this week. It was during the Me Too movement that he faced a court, was sent to prison for all those years. They're having a retrial today because they said some of the witnesses didn't hear everything right. So he's getting a retrial. Will it be a different outcome? I don't know. We'll see. I know the stuff I read was pretty bad. Well, let's see here. El Salvador. We talked about that. He's not going to return that bad guy. Let's see here. Sean Puff Daddy. His attorneys want to question jurors about their views on drugs, sex, and violence. That's going to be a courtroom when that finally reaches there. Boy, that's going to be tough. Let's see here. Harvard. He warned them. Donald Trump has frozen $2 billion after Harvard rejected his demands. That money is frozen. We'll see how they do. What happens next? Pretty serious there. Ex-LSU, I saw this as Dak Prescott paid tribute to this guy. Karen Lacey died from apparent suicide after a police chase. He played for LSU. My, oh my. What happens when your girlfriend goes on a cruise without you? I don't know. Odie's there with his wife, but as we read headlines here, never let your emotions get ahead of thinking correctly. A man got mad at his girlfriend because she went on a cruise without him. So he called in a threat to the cruise ship. Of course, they had to shut it down, and he's going to be going to jail for quite some time. Good morning from Dalewood. Good to see you there. Let's see here. Remember the helicopter company where it went down and those 6 people lost their lives? Everything they have in New York has been grounded. They cannot do any more tours. And that's a good thing. Let's make sure everything is working there. I don't know if y'all saw this yet, but Ohio State came to the White House. J.D. Vance went to pick up the trophy, and, well, it wasn't really all together, and it came apart. He fumbled it. He handled it well and joked it off. We see that we go to Colorado, and this is scary because we all see this happen often there. An ex-Colorado deputy yesterday got 3 years in prison for fatally shooting a man who had called for help. He was not mentally stable, and they said although the deputy was a good fellow, that body cam did not match statements from the sheriff's department, where he said the man was aggressive. After they watched the video, they said the sheriff's deputy was the one that was aggressive. Overly aggressive is the way they put it. And at the end of the day, it cost that young man his life. The deputy is headed to 3 years in jail. Whew. Denmark. Watch what you do when you're out of country. We got 2 U.S. citizens that have been held for 2 weeks. They had a scuffle with an Uber driver. They didn't like that. They were detained for 2 weeks. That kind of scared them, so to speak, there. All right, and today is the day. Have you made your check to the U.S. of A. government? April 15th, you got to pay it. Today is it. Here's a couple of states or so that have been postponed for a little while. Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and several counties in Tennessee and Virginia have extended their tax deadline to May 1st due to national disasters or natural disasters that happened in their states. Everybody else, you got to pony up and pay by midnight tonight or have a tax extension. Good luck on that. We'll be right back as we'll get into your forecasts. Good morning.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle. Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Let's face it, accidents are going to happen. If a deer jumps out in front of your car, go see my friends and professionals at Chet's Paint and Body Shop in Center Hill. Chet can help you navigate through this confusing world of insurance by providing photo estimates to insurance companies and the right to choose the body shop of your choice. From a minor scratch to a major collision, Chet has you covered. Chet offers quality repairs by trained and certified technicians with a lifetime warranty on all repairs. That's Chet's Paint and Body Shop.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs and record lows today, it was 1972 that we had a high of 89. As we go back to 08, boy, it was cold. It was 31 on that date. As we look across here, here's days somewhere between 74 to 75 is the best we're going to get as we go toward Columbus. 72-ish, maybe 73. Down the river, it'll be about the same there to Natchez. As we go east into Bama, we'll see 73 there in Demopolis. Birmingham, a little cooler at 71. And Montgomery, Hank's Place, should be around 75 today as we look at those forecasts. Now, as we look at this, be careful. We warn you not to start a fire today. If you got a brush fire, wait a little while. We have a elevated wildfire danger today. Why? There's a lot of gust out there as we look at this. Some areas could see gusts of 25 miles an hour, sustained winds of 10 to 15 to 20. It's going to be a rough day there, and we don't need a volunteer fire out there fighting this stuff. Y'all be careful. It's tough. Once it hits that grass, it travels quickly. What do we see? Above average temperatures, and they're coming as we look at our 7-day forecast. Here's what we've got. 73 to 4 to 5 today in that neighborhood, up to 75 tomorrow, even maybe 77. As the week progresses, look at this. Friday, 87. Saturday, it should be perfect for all of our outdoor events at 87. It's still 80s as you go to church on Sunday. Should see about 84. Let's dive off into another week of this. We'll start seeing showers there next Monday, rolling into Tuesday there with about a 36% chance of showers, even up to a 50% chance on the 23rd. So we got some storms coming, nothing horrifying, and all the way toward the end of the month there, about 85. So we've got 80 degrees pretty much to the end of the week starting on the 22nd. Keep that in mind. All right, let's look at this. What's happening with the fishing calendar as you head out this morning? J&J sends you out there. And as a reminder, this wind, a northwest wind, 10 to 20, with gusts of 25. It's going to be tough with those lures, and it will give you backlash. You'll have to set an anchor because it'll blow you around. How many times have you gotten that backlash and spent 45 minutes trying to get it out? Yeah, I've been there. Major times to fish today is going to be somewhere around 2 o'clock today. We'll call it 2 until 4. Another time will be early, starting off here in just a moment here, 7 until 8 o'clock this morning. So if you're out already on the creek bank, well, you're good. Sunrise happened at 6:24 this morning. Sunset rolls in at 7:24 this evening. That's a quick look at our forecast. We'll be back. We got to make some coffee. We're going back live in just a moment. We've got J.J. Anders in. Oh, boy. Rush is in. We'll find out what's going on in the county, the roads, the big discussion. Marion. Yeah, that's what I tried to say. Wouldn't come out right, would it? We'll discuss all that coming up this morning. Greg's in as Odie is somewhere in a tanning booth. He's trapped in a tanning booth. Y'all saw it yesterday. I saw him Saturday night. I almost didn't recognize him. All I could see was the glow of his teeth from 3 miles. Odie, have you been in a tanning bed? No. He's off on vacation with his wife. We'll get things kicked off at the top of the hour. Join us, won't you?
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.